Hello, I'm Tree Abraham. I'm the author of two Book Hug Press books. My first, Seclets, came out in 2022, and my forthcoming book, Elseship, An Unrequited Affair, is out April 15th. So Elseship is sort of a memoir. It begins with the realization that I have fallen in love with my housemate and friend. At the time, I'm in my late 20s. It is my first love of all time, my first time grappling with big feelings. I am queer and on the ace spectrum and completely overwhelmed with this entirely new experience of being alive. I confess right away to my friend, and it's clear that while my form of love is unreciprocated by her, that we are both committed to remaining in each other's lives and making sense of what a relationship can look like. So most of the book is divided into the 8 ancient Greek categories of love. And within each part, I sort of provide a portrait of my relationship and how it's unfolding with my friend, but then also I explore a wide range of thinkers and psychological perspectives and intimate moments, and I'm trying to grapple with the idea of like, which love can I categorize our relationship as? And very much there's this tension in the book between my desire for language and definition and her desire for silence and sort of a fluidity to everything. And because I'm a book designer, it is interspersed with a lot of imagery and diagrams and ephemera and journal entries and all these different forms that my dissection takes in trying to truly understand what is love and what do we owe each other, and what in modern day can we accept as our relationships to other people. So I'm going to read a short passage. Blue has historically been considered a version of green. Color perception is linked to language. In many languages, there aren't separate terms for green and blue. Linguists use the portmanteau terms grue or bleen to describe when something greenish is approaching a blueness, or vice versa, a marriage between the two. In cultures where there are separate terms for light and dark blue, people have found to perceive varying blue hues with greater acuity. In cultures where there is no word for blue, people are less able to distinguish blue from green things. I am transported outside of bodily time tracking through you, hiccuping into our moments. Everything else goes out of focus, like a wormhole opened and sucked us into an alternate dimension where we become submerged in water, dampening our ability to hear sounds or see the outside as more than a blue-green blob of putty. In a study by behavioral scientists measuring the physiological synchrony between partners versus strangers, surprisingly, it was found that greater synchrony occurs between strangers than in pre-existing relationships, because those who habitually share physical space ultimately have less need to heighten their sensitivity to social cues. Novelty represents a critical variable that induces alertness, excitement, and automatic arousal, which might underline greater synchrony observed between strangers, as a bid to establish social affiliation. I think our condition retains an unusual synchrony between lover and stranger, between forgetting and perceiving ourselves completely in the presence of the other. When I am with you, I nuzzle into a fogged space between us. In an article about 2 close friends that drifted apart, one friend confides that what she misses most is the third thing that came from the 2 of us, the alchemy of our minds and hearts, and dare I say, souls in conversation. What she brought out in me and what I brought out in her, and how those things don't exist without our relationship. They go on to discuss how all deep friendships generate something outside of themselves, something special and totally other, third thing. Our house can feel like a totem of that third thing, that blue-green blob. One day we buy a giant plastic container, gloves, stirring sticks, pH strips, cloth, other necessary ingredients to venture into the world of indigo dyeing. We each hold a handle of the container filled with the supplies, sitting back to back atop it during the subway ride home. We empty the living room of furniture and spread blue tarp across the floor. Lying in the gulf, we flap our limbs like snow angels. It was an elaborate undertaking from morning to late night. We made a playlist for the occasion. Blue Dye Days, you called it. Any song with indigo or blue in its name was considered. Outfitted with blue bandana dust masks and blue athlewear, we churned fumy blue like witches over a cauldron, sprayed cloth in baths of blue, and breathed in chemical blue. With our soundtrack playing, we truly were imbued with a halcyon blueness, blue staining not just our textiles, but our floors, pots, and souls. Color terminology helps to name and categorize multitudes into some sort of organized chaos. But to categorize is to separate and divide, to compartmentalize a totality into neat little boxes, like a watercolor palette. We can't paint the world without blending the boxes into obscurity. We can't paint the self without those water-smeared colors either. Thank you for listening. I very, very much hope you enjoy reading Elseship. Again, it's out April 15th. Bye.